Okay, we've got to talk about the latest updates on the Nazca Mummies. Check this out. Nazca Mummies, aliens are powered by smoothies. What? Alright, here's some new science that has been done on these things. Oh, got some music playing. Okay, check it out. A bone like the scapula forms the rib cage with a welded clavicle. A single bone in the forearm and also in the leg. Hand in pronation with 3 fingers in flattened claws. The pelvis is formed by separate bones of semicircular shape. Gonochoric sex, female and male. Oviparous reproduction. I'm saying all these words right. It is powered by liquids. His step is bipedal plantigrade. Whatever that means exactly. But check this out. This is also interesting about him being powered by smoothies. If you have a science background or medical background, you can probably understand this better than I do. But check it out. Viscerocranium. There are no sutures. The oral region is composed of 2 bone plates articulated as hinges. There are exit holes from ocular nerves. The orbital basin is not deep. Pneumatization. This allows a lightness of the skull because the brain is large in size. So that's interesting. Talking about its head and how the heads work and the skulls work. I don't know how they are powered by smoothies, how that makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint. But if these are engineered beings, it begins to make a little more sense. And remember, of course, gray aliens are thought to get nourishment through their skin. The Nazca Mummies aren't necessarily gray aliens, but they may have stuff in common with the grays. Not only, do they have a liquid diet, presumably, although they may get it through their mouths and not their skin, but their joints may be articulated in a similar way. This is from Raz. Thank you for sending me this. I appreciate it. I love it. This is an episode of Engaging the Phenomenon, one of my favorite channels. I highly recommend you checking out the full interview. This is with Michael Schratt, and he's going to draw some comparisons between the Nazca beings and the gray aliens, although he's not directly comparing them, but you will see what we're talking about.
Now, Camp Polk, Louisiana, summer 1953. The source is a private in the Army. This is case A1, page 80. This is the drawing that Rudy came up with that gives you an idea of what this thing looked like. Similar to that 47 egg thing. This was about 30 feet across. It looked like an egg. It had a fin wrapped around the outer portion of the craft itself. There were 3 ET bodies that had to be helped by medical personnel. There was another ET body that was being carried off in a stretcher in this gurney. They were trying to establish communication between the 3 and the one that was being carried off. Now, these beings were about 3.5 feet tall. They had oversized heads, oversized eyes, slit for a mouth, minute nose. They were wearing a one-piece tight-fitting flight suit, and they had helmets on. They had what looked like mittens on, and then they had what I thought was very interesting, no knee joints. They only had joints on their hips. So when they were walking, they had this staggered walking as they were walking by. They had to be helped by these medical personnel. Very bizarre that they had no knee, but that's what's talked about within this report.
So there you go. Their joints and their limbs operated very awkwardly, very similar to the Nazca Mummies. Are they related? We believe the Nazca Mummies may be hybrids, with some human DNA thrown in there, maybe some ape DNA. But could the unknown DNA be that of gray aliens? There are definitely similarities. Maybe at the least they were created by the same beings, right? Because the grays, the small grays, seem to be created beings. Robots, artificial robots, or organic robots, call them what you want. But yeah, what do you think about that idea? That either they could be, hybrids with the grays or created by the same beings that created the Greys. Meanwhile, World Limited Mystery revealed 2 more hands with metallic implants that belong to creatures estimated to be 9 feet tall. That's crazy. I actually tried to share this video with you on the last video, but it got a copyright claim, so I'm not going to play it for you, but I will just show you some images. And yeah, it looks like they are drawing comparisons between Maria, the human-sized mummy, and the large 9-foot-tall mummies or beings. We only have their hands. Steve Mayer thinks they're fake. He thinks it's all fake. But are they? Are they? With these crazy metallic implants. Look at that. What a weird detail for a hoaxer to include. But, let me know what you think. Here's, doctors analyzing these crazy hands with these crazy implants. Yeah, and these beings, the giant beings, seem to be older than the small beings. That is, they were a few thousand years older, or at least 1,000 or more years older than the smaller beings, which is interesting. And check this out. Pictograph reconstruction shown by Inari Institute, Cusco, and I can't say that name, Joy Pentilla, Palpa, Peru, from 900 to 700 BC. And you can see the Nazca mummies. Check that out. I mean, that is just, you couldn't get more clear. They even have the awkward hands, right? The awkward arms that don't articulate very well with the 3 fingers. The heads look exactly like that. That's just incredible. That's just incredible. And it's also interesting to note the date, 900 to 700 BC. The ones they've found, I think, have been after 80. So if this is the case, then they have actually been around longer than we know from the bodies recovered. But yeah, fascinating stuff. Clearly, they were interacting with the cultures of the humans over the time in that region. And I have shown in previous videos, there are similar pictographs all over the world when many cultures depicting very similar beings, as well as other non-human looking beings. This phenomenon was worldwide going way back. They weren't interested in the people's technology or their nukes. Why were they drawn to these people? Why were they interacting with them? Were they more spiritually enlightened? What was the connection? What drew them? Was it just humanity in general? What do you guys think? Oh, and here's a fascinating tweet from Gonzalo Chavez. If people stop ignoring Latin America, they'd already have answers. They'd know about plans to find living versions of the Nazca mummies and the Peruvian sacred mountains. How they are called puis by local tribes, but everyone limits UFO disclosure to English countries. Yeah, and that's such a shame because there's a lot happening all over the world, and this is crazy. And Peru, of course, is such a crazy hotspot. What is going on down there? What has been going down there for thousands of years, apparently, with multiple different types of being, some of whom have left bodies behind and maybe still living there. And there are actually plans to find them. Gonzalo, who is finding them? Who is setting out after is it scientists? Is it the Ministry of Culture of Peru? Is it the UFO control group? Is it the locals that interacted with them thousands of years ago that are still interacting with them, or that want to establish new relationships with them? What is this going? What is all about? What do you know, Gonzalo? What do you know, Gonzalo? So yeah, go give Gonzalo a follow on his Twitter channel and pepper him with questions. We've got to know what he's talking about because yeah, I want to see some living Nazca beings. Don't you guys? That's insane. Would you want to hike through the mountains of Peru to find some Nazca beings or explore those caves if there are still living beings there? That's nuts, guys. That's nuts. I love it. I want answers. Yeah, and I want a lot more. I mean, this is UFO disclosure, guys. this is UFO disclosure, but only if people pay attention. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. Channel members get to see videos hours ahead of everybody else often, or you can buy a t-shirt in the merch store below. Oh, and give these Twitter channels a follow, because they are bringing disclosure to us, and I love it. So thank you to Nazca Mummies and Gonzalo Chavez. So, okay, until next time, this is Jack the Cosmic Road, signing out.